he said.
He
Don't
said
worry
easy
about what
work,
he said.
easy money. Do you
Don't
agree?
worry about what. There's no easy fight. There's no easy fight.
Why is he saying this? Why is he saying this? He said easy money.
But he believes in me.
Yeah,
he
that's
believes
right.
in me.
I like that.
Have you ever seen, like, someone on X Factor that can't sing but their parents believe in?
I'm going in there, I can fight free. If he starts getting touched up and losing rounds, I think the cookie will crumble.
Do you agree?
Whatever he said. We'll see if the cookie crumbles. I don't know what to say. I'm confident in myself. Like, I'm not focusing on him. I just know what I can do, and I can't wait to show it. I'm not gonna crumble. I'm solid. I've been through war.
This is what I'm gonna say. I don't want to focus on it being like about Jake. Oh, Jake's small, so that makes me confident. Jake's this, so that makes me confident. I'm just focused on myself. I'm confident in myself. Jake could be 10th. I'm confident in myself. That's what I'm saying. It's not about how he is. I just really like, I've got a good team. I've been through ups and downs. I'm stood the test of time. I'm passionate. I'm hungry. And I'm still here ready to fight my heart out. So I'm confident in that.
Anthony Joshua has issued a clear and measured warning to Jake Paul, stressing that he is entering this matchup not as a celebrity attraction, but as a proven heavyweight champion with years of elite experience behind him.
It's not just the punches you see, it's the feinting, it's the distance, it's the, oh my God, through that jab. Yeah, the intangibles. It's going to be really interesting to see how he deals with the intangibles in it.
Yeah.
And that's why I said there's a few things that I want to do in the ring that he might not have seen before, and I want to see how he deals with this.
Yeah.
Always have a lot to say, but both of us have some of the biggest knockouts in the past years in boxing, and we're coming to fight. We made it smaller gloves just now today, so someone's getting put to sleep.
He acknowledges that confidence built through world-level training, major championships, and high-pressure environments cannot simply be replicated by anyone transitioning from entertainment into boxing.
Align myself with some of the greatest coaches and greatest fighters in the world because I have that hunger, that desire. Every time I've been knocked down or been in trouble when I was younger, came back 3 years later, got to the Olympics. Get in trouble again before the Olympics, 3 years later, become world champion after 16 fights. Win all the belts, get beat by Ruiz, come back and unify the division for the second time. It's just constantly drives my focus and my hunger to get better. So I'm going to be a tough man to break down 100% come December 19th because I've been building myself over the last year. I ain't been sitting back. I've been working.
Joshua explains that his preparation has focused on refining fundamentals, tightening combinations, and working with top-tier trainers to ensure there are no surprises regardless of what Paul brings on fight night. In his view, this bout is less about hype and more about demonstrating the stark difference between a developing crossover boxer and a fully established professional. And he expects the performance to make that gap unmistakably clear.
I don't think it's necessarily fair to AJ. I just know that I have the power and the timing. It's the shots that you don't see coming that knock people out. And I'm a tricky knockout artist that people don't give me enough credit for. I've won knockout of the year. So he has to be careful. And I do have the timing, the speed, and the tricks up my sleeve to be able to hit a shot on this guy that he doesn't see coming that can put him to sleep 1,000.
Continuing the wider concerns shared by fighters and analysts, Conor McGregor adds his own blunt perspective, admitting Jake Paul deserves respect simply for walking toward a challenge of this scale. But that respect doesn't erase the danger. McGregor stresses that boxing is unforgiving, and stepping in with a physically dominant heavyweight like Anthony Joshua brings real risk, not just Netflix.
He's gonna get knocked out by AJ though, isn't he?
If he makes that walk, I've got to give him his respect for that. Very dangerous, you know. It seems like Netflix are all over him. It's a dangerous sport, and you can't overlook that. Joshua's a big boy and a powerhouse. I've sat ringside and watched Joshua. That's a heavy punching man, and he's a happy and he's a good kid. He has an anger in him. He has a darkness in him, does Anthony Joshua. I don't think a lot of people suss that. So, the fight shouldn't go ahead. The fight shouldn't go ahead. However, if he does it, I'll give him the...
He describes Joshua as a powerhouse with heavy hands and a darker, aggressive side that only real fighters have experienced up close. From his viewpoint, very few men can withstand what Joshua delivers when he's focused. And he openly questions whether this fight should even happen because of the damage it could cause. Still, if Jake insists on making that walk, McGregor believes the courage alone must be acknowledged, even if the outcome feels brutally predictable.
I don't want to ask you about a prediction for Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua because I think a lot of people know what will happen. But is it dangerous for Jake Paul to be taking on a big heavyweight? You're a heavyweight, man. I wouldn't want to get punched by you here. Is it very dangerous for Jake Paul to be even taken on?
I mean, no matter what it is, it can be an exhibition fight or whatever fight it is. When two guys step over that rope and they got bad intentions or they ready to throw blows, it's always bad. You got to understand that boxing is a dangerous business and the head is not meant to be hit in the first place. Doctors will always tell you the head is not meant to be hit. The body is not meant to be hit. The head is not meant to be, the brain is not meant to be shot.
Following McGregor's concerns about danger and credibility, veteran boxing journalist Gareth A. Davies echoes the same uneasy tone while analyzing what makes Joshua versus Jake Paul such a strange but globally irresistible spectacle. Speaking from Dubai, he admits that despite all the promotional push, many within the sport still struggle to believe this matchup is really happening until both men are standing under the lights on fight week. Davies respects Jake Paul's willingness to take on such a challenge, but emphasizes the unavoidable reality.
Being a tick in the box and signing the contract straight away. Readily, you cannot see a victory for Jake Paul. I mean, you can't. I do worry about his safety in there. I do know that it wouldn't have been licensed in the UK. Even today, people are throwing conjecture on the fact that Jake Paul hurt his eye. He said it was Lawrence Okoli punched him in sparring and that the fight is off. People are almost looking for a reason for it to be off. I've been there myself in the last couple of weeks as well. I mean, I cannot believe, until I see them in fight week and until we witness it, I won't believe it's truly happening, if I'm honest.
Pairing a novice boxer with a former unified heavyweight champion is something that would never be sanctioned in stricter jurisdictions like the UK. He highlights that even promoters seem to be searching for excuses for the fight to be called off, pointing to speculation over Jake Paul's recent eye injury in sparring. He also reminds us that this isn't just a circus act. The heavyweight division remains a dangerous place, and every punch carries the same risk regardless of popularity or platform. While acknowledging that the fight will likely generate record-breaking numbers and provide Joshua with an extremely straightforward comeback opportunity.
And as I spoke with Nikisa Badarin and Jake Paul at the press conference in Miami a couple of weeks back, if Jake Paul does do it, it'll be the biggest upset in the history of boxing. The biggest shock ever. Maybe one of the biggest upsets in the whole of sport. Some people will question whether this really is sport. You know, you can deem it to be circus, you can deem it to be freak show. Spoke to David Hay for an interview in the Telegraph that's going in tomorrow, I think. And he was saying, you know, if he'd been offered this all those years ago and he was in the same position as Anthony Joshua, he said, I wouldn't have even thought about it. I wouldn't have even given it any consideration. It would have been a tick in the box.
Davies stresses that the pressure all falls on AJ. If the bout lasts longer than a few minutes, critics will question his mentality. And if something goes horribly wrong, boxing will have to answer for why this contest ever entered a sanctioned ring. As the boxing world continues to debate the legitimacy and risk of Joshua versus Jake Paul, analyst Wade Plemons takes that concern even further by examining what is actually happening inside Jake's training camp. And the signs aren't exactly encouraging. He highlights Jake revealing a noticeable black eye from recent heavyweight sparring sessions, particularly against Lawrence Okoli, a far larger and more experienced fighter whose jab and left hook mirror the exact threats Anthony Joshua brings.
Like Lawrence Okoli, and especially if it's your right eye, if Jake's getting hit in his right eye, that usually would mean that he's getting jabbed, because that jab in orthodox would come out from the left hand on the right eye side constantly, or got jabbed big time with a one big shot. Or, and this may be even more of a bad thing for Jake Paul, he's gotten hit with a hard left hook, one that he didn't see because it was right on his eye, and it looks like it landed pretty flush, as you can kind of see here. Question is, which one of those two things is happening? And question is, how is it going down? Because what we know about Anthony Joshua is that he has a nasty...
Plemons points out that while training with physically imposing partners is meant to prepare Jake for the range and pressure of a true heavyweight, the visual damage suggests he is struggling to avoid shots he'll absolutely face on fight night. He stresses that at this level, one clean punch, even in sparring, tells a story about timing, defense, and vulnerability that could become a major factor once the gloves are smaller, the lights are brighter, and every mistake counts. Clemens also analyzes Joshua's mindset through footage of press conference interactions and training segments, noting that AJ appears laser-focused, already on weight, and motivated by the idea of applying non-stop pressure. Jake's attempts to spin the size difference as an advantage for himself are met with skepticism as Clemens emphasizes that Joshua's reach, strength, and ring maturity will put Jake in uncomfortable positions he has never truly faced before.
The worst I've seen Jake look after sparring or at any time during his camps, and maybe there's been times where he's not on camera, but you can tell the levels are higher and the risk is higher and the danger is higher this time around because of how his eye looks. He's probably getting hit harder, getting fucked up worse in sparring than he ever has. Now, he has said that the heavyweights he's sparring, it's actually easier for him and he's not getting hit as much, but that black eye is not the same indication as to what he's saying. So either he's embellishing a bit and this is harder than he thought, or harder than anything else he's ever done as far as the sparring, the training for this match, or he got caught with something big and that's the only big shot.
He argues that this risk goes far beyond winning or losing. The physical consequences could be severe if Jake cannot manage the pace or power of a former unified heavyweight champion. While he praises Jake's courage and ambition, Clemens maintains that the gap in elite experience combined with the limited time Jake has to learn heavyweight fundamentals makes this matchup one of the most dangerous ventures of Jake Paul's career. Even after acknowledging Jake's courage and ambition, the worries don't disappear. And that's exactly where former UFC title challenger Darren Till enters the conversation. He speaks from decades inside combat sports, explaining that while we can admire anyone willing to walk toward danger, there are levels and realities you simply can't escape. Till says he has spent over 20 years mastering striking in MMA, Muay Thai, and boxing. And even he wouldn't volunteer to fight Anthony Joshua under pro rules. From his perspective, Jake Paul may be chasing history, but the gap in size, power, and world-class experience makes this matchup difficult to justify as a competitive contest. He suggests that if there isn't some form of behind-the-scenes safety measure, Jake is stepping into a situation where his physical well-being is genuinely at risk.
Jake Paul could get seriously hurt in there, couldn't he?
Yeah, look, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest, strongest heavyweights out there. I've sparred a few heavyweights who come down the gym. One was being a guy called the War Chief. He was massive. He looked like John Coffey from Green Island. He didn't punch me around, but every time he hit me, even when he hit me forward, I was just I just felt like this thunder hit me, and I was and that's why we have weight classes. That's why you have your lightweight, your welterweight, and from that we can all go up and down a little bit, but we can't make jumps like that. It's just not. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Jake could get fucking killed.
So, as we wrap this up, every voice in the game, from world champions to MMA veterans to analysts who've seen every twist the sport can throw, is saying the same thing. This fight is historic, but it's also a massive gamble. Anthony Joshua carries real heavyweight danger, years of elite training, and a mindset that doesn't play around. Jake Paul brings ambition, blind confidence, and willingness to risk everything for legacy. That's why we're all glued to it. Maybe Jake shocks the world. Or maybe reality hits like a heavyweight right hand. Either way, we're witnessing a moment that could change boxing forever, for better or for worse. Now it's your turn. Do you think Jake Paul would actually survive a single clean punch from Anthony Joshua? Or does this whole experiment end the second a real heavyweight connects? Jump into the comments and let the debate go wild. And don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Hot Zone.